All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome in. Thank you so much for joining us for today's CEO Manufacturers Roundtable. My name is Alexis Fox. I'm the Marketing and Training Manager for the South Florida SBDC at FIU. As you are coming in, we just want to let you know that this is a recorded panel and that we will be sharing this information with you via email in the coming days as we conclude today's workshop. So if you have any questions for our panelists, please use our Q&A function. Do not put the questions in the chat. Please use the Q&A function, and our esteemed panelists will be more than happy to answer your questions as we go through today's presentation. So as I mentioned, we are with America's SBDC. We are the FIU hosted center here in Florida. And the SBDC is a program in partnership with the SBA, and we partner with different state governments, universities, private sectors, and organizations. There are nearly 1,000 SBDC centers across the country hosted at colleges such as FIU. And what the SBDC does is provides a number of services, including business planning and strategy, access to capital, marketing and sales growth, international trade, government contracting, technological commercialization, as well as business and community disaster recovery planning. We are located throughout the state, as far north as the Panhandle and as far south as into the Keys. So you are able to find any network within your area. We currently have done more than $500,000 in capital assessed. We've done over $345,000 in government contracting awarded at the state, federal, and private level. We've also done close to 9,000 business owners assisted via no-cost consulting, and we have nearly 30,000 total clients served over the lifetime of our center, which opened in 2014. We have created almost 600 jobs, and we have a 95% satisfaction rate within our clients as of 2023. This is our esteemed team of consultants. If you are interested in any consulting services, you would need to register with us using the link provided in the chat. If you are interested, you can go to our website at sbdc.fiu.edu for more information on our center, on the network, and on any of the services that we provide. We also encourage you to subscribe to our newsletter. We do send out a monthly newsletter twice every month with all of the information on upcoming events such as this one, resources, and highlighting our business community. You can also follow us on social media. We are at SBDC at FIU on all major platforms, and we are on YouTube. And if you enjoy what you are learning here today, and want to share some feedback with us, please leave us a review on Google. You can scan the QR code or utilize the link in the chat in order to do so. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Brian Van Hook, who is our regional director. He will be introducing our panelists for today.
Thank you, Alexis. And I just want to thank you guys for being here before Friday. I know for some folks it's a 3-day weekend, 4-day weekend. So we want to thank you guys for being here for this roundtable. I have the easiest job here, where we have a rock star panel of manufacturers, also one of our key community partners. So I'm gonna go real quick around and just have everybody introduce themselves. I'll start with Alejandra with Select Florida.
Thank you, Brian, and good morning, everyone. Thank you for your time today. Very happy and honored to be here. My name is Alejandra Now, and I'm the Director for International Trade and Development for Latin America and the Caribbean with Select Florida, the state principal organization for economic development.
Thank you. And Alejandra, did you want to say anything else about Select Florida before we turn it to the other folks?
Absolutely. Select Florida has a twofold mission, which is to help attract and retain foreign direct investment and out-of-state companies that are seeking to establish in Florida. Any kind of investment, any kind of out-of-state or foreign footprint that wishes to come to Florida, any facilities or any offices that want to be opened, there are some incentives in place for that. So investors choose Florida over other states. That's one side of the house. And then obviously everything focused on diversifying and strengthening our state economy. And then my side of the house focuses on the outbound operations, helping Florida manufacturers and service providers explore new markets and increase their sales overseas. So we help small and medium manufacturers and service providers explore new markets through different programs and services that we offer. One of them being the Export Marketing Plan, which we have the honor to partner with the SBDC. We've done several of those. It's an amazing tool for those companies that are here today and that are considering exporting to start navigating international markets. This is a highly recommended resource. We have Select Florida has grants available to help offset the cost of this plan and for those companies that qualify, and happy to provide additional information. But it is a great resource when it comes to when you're looking for a blueprint to start engaging in exporting. So happy to provide additional information later or directly to any of the participants. We also have other services and programs such as sales missions. We're having a few next year to Latin America and the Caribbean. We also have grants available for those activities. We have grants that are always tied to specific activities in order to help offset the cost of exploring and new markets. We provide counseling at no cost to all of our Florida companies. Our reason of being is to make sure that we can reach out and serve as many manufacturers, Florida manufacturers and service providers as possible. We are here to assist and in all this exporting process. We have resources available for companies at every different stage. So for companies that are new to export, new to market, or more seasoned exporters, we have different resources and services available to help you in all these different stages. So again, happy to provide more information for those that are interested. Also going back to our grants work on a reimbursable basis. We also have grants for companies that are interested in exhibiting in different trade shows. All of our grants work on a reimbursable basis, and companies can apply to up to 3 grants per fiscal year. The grants for the shows are meant to help offset the exhibition cost. We know that exhibiting at a trade show can be expensive, but it is a great way to showcase your services, your products. And Select Florida has a presence in major international shows, specifically in shows related to the marine industry, aviation, life sciences, and IT. And by presence, I mean that Select Florida has an actual pavilion where we take 20+ companies to be part of that Florida pavilion under the U.S. pavilion. So Florida is always stands out. And this is thanks to the grants that we're able to provide. So if any of these events are of interest, again, happy to provide more information. We have offices throughout the state. So I'm in the Coral Gables office covering Miami-Dade and South Florida. We have offices in Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville to cover the rest of the state. And we also have 17 offices overseas. These offices are ready to help you also explore new markets. We have offices in Japan, Europe, in Spain, France, Germany, Canada, Brazil. So all these our representatives are available to help you with any questions you may have on those specific markets, and they also take care of any investment inquiries. So we have a very robust network. We also partner with the SBDC when it comes to our export marketing plan. And we also partner with the U.S. Commercial Service for a lot of our trade missions. So we are a great connector, and we are here to assist you to serve as many companies as possible and to guide you in any way we can. If you have any questions, please make sure to reach out. If it's something that it's not probably within our scope of work, Select Florida is a great connector. We have a great network and a lot of resources, and we can help you. And together we can find the answer. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you, Alejandra. That was a good rundown. Just big shout out to the export marketing plan. Like as she mentioned, it does give you a really good roadmap, whether you're new to exporting or whether you're new to a new market, you're already exporting and want to go to another country. And we'll dive into that as part of the discussion. So I do want to do introductions. Felipe, I'm going to save you for last because I was going to go to you first with some questions, but I was going to go to the HOSMED team first. If you guys want to introduce yourselves, just mention who you are, and then we'll get in your company in a little bit. So Fernando, Segundo.
Yeah. Yes. Good morning, and I want to thank Brian and the entire SBDC team, Michelle Bernal, also for the invitation to be here. And my name is Segundo Jimenez. I'm the president at HOSMED Inc. We are a manufacturer of medical equipment and medical devices. We started in the manufacturing business of back in 2020. And so we export our medical equipment and devices to Latin America, the Caribbean, Middle East, and Southeast Asia. We do some business here in the US, but our main business is overseas.
Hi,
Fernando?
my name is Fernando Lopez, and thank you so very much. We have, like Segundo was pointing it out, HOSMED has it focuses on mostly an overseas international trade for medical equipment and devices, and we have offices all over. Well, we'll get into it when we do the presentation, but I'm happy to be joining the SBDC and also appreciate Shelley's invitation, and greetings from Atlanta, Georgia.
Great. And then Eduardo and Eric with Grain Machinery Manufacturer.
Good morning. My name is Eduardo Castellanos. I'm the CEO of Grain Machinery Manufacturing Corporation. Firstly, thank you to the SBDC team for putting this together. We're happy to be able to participate. Grain Machinery Manufacturing Corporation is an OEM manufacturer of laboratory testing equipment for the agricultural sector, and we're the last standing domestic manufacturer for USDA approved laboratory equipment for the rice sector. Eric, you're on mute.
You're mute.
Sorry. Good morning, everybody. My name is Eric Schaub. I'm the CEO of Grain Machinery Manufacturing Corp. And we are the proud winners of the 2025 SBDC's Manufacturer of the Year. Happy to join you guys today.
You're our inaugural winner, and you're the reigning one until we give it out next year. So congrats on that. And then Felipe, I was gonna go to you with BioRep. So you want to talk about you and your business?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the SBDC for the invitation as well. Very happy to be here. So yeah, my name is Felipe Echeverri. I'm the CEO for BioRep Technologies. We are a medical device manufacturing company. We actually operate in two spaces. Right? Okay. So we operate in two spaces. We have our own OEM product line, our own brand, where we make equipment used in diabetes research, focused on the cure, not the treatment. So we don't do insulin pumps, we don't do glucose meters. We focus on a very specialized process to isolate islets from a donor pancreas which that later get transplanted into a diabetic and reverse diabetes. So we make the equipment used to process the organ. And then we have a different business unit where we do contract design and contract manufacturing. And basically we help other people bring their ideas to market. And our customers range from research centers, pharma companies, and established medtech manufacturers. Yeah, that's the background on Bio.
Cool. And then I know that your company came under new ownership. So when that happened, what was the approach that you had for evaluating the company's performance?
Yeah, that's right. So we were acquired in December 2024. And one of the first things that we did was basically take a step back and say, okay, where are we creating value and where are we just busy, you know? And so we looked at the company across three lenses: financial, operational, and strategic. So we wanted to know, okay, where do we stand? Because how do we know we're doing good comparing to others? So one of the first things, one of the things that SBDC helped us with was identify some key business metrics and ratios, because we wanted to compare ourselves to companies our size in the same space in medical device manufacturing. Not necessarily compare ourselves to a Medtronic or a Johnson & Johnson. We want to compare ourselves to companies of similar size to understand how we're doing. So we looked at some of the metrics, and at least now we know where we stand. It's like driving. If you're driving and you don't have a dashboard, you don't know what your RPMs are, how fast are you going. So basically, by picking some metrics and comparing yourself, now you know where you stand, and so you can make better business decisions. And we kind of align that to, now we have performance-oriented incentives for employees. So we tie the bonuses to some of these metrics. So that's I would definitely recommend using this service from the SBDC. All the data was very relevant. It was very up to the date, like 2025 reports, and it was very reassuring. Actually, I got multiple reports as well, so I could compare across reports to make sure I was getting the good data. So yeah.
Yeah, and I would really reiterate that, because you don't know how you're doing unless you're comparing yourself to like folks in the same industry. For SBDC, we actually use that so we compare ourselves to some of the other centers around Florida, around the country, just to see like how are we doing, what are the metrics. I would ask you in terms of BioRep, how did that give you like a competitive edge in terms of like those financial ratios, those benchmarking? How did it kind of like put you guys ahead of the game?
I mean, it kind of changed how we manage the business, really. Now we're able to set like realistic but ambitious goals based on the benchmark ranges. It also made our quarterly reviews more structured. Every department now tracks KPIs tied directly to those benchmarks. And also, one of the biggest changes was it basically gave us a common language to talk among ourselves and the owners and investors. Basically, once everybody uses the same vocabulary and the same words, it's easier to communicate. So that's kind of how I think it made a big difference in our organization.
That's great. So we did learn a little bit about HosMed when we kicked off the webinar. But can you guys tell us more about your company? What do you produce? Who are your typical customers?
Yes, we also have contract manufacturing and we do OEM. So we work with different companies, but everything is under our own brand, HosMed. And we do also all the documentation here in the United States for our products. And we have several lines like patient monitors, incubators or neonatology, anesthesia machines, X-rays, infusion pumps also, and specialty devices for cardiology and neurology. So it's a big line, it's a big range of equipment, and we work with distributors throughout the other countries where we have presence in Latin America and Middle East and Southeast Asia. So we need to provide all the documentation to our distributors so they can register our products in their countries. And they usually participate in government bids or tenders. And also they work with the private sector of each market.
Cool. And then I know that you work with our Shelly and our team for a while. Can you talk about like specifically how you work with SBDC and how it's helped you to grow your business?
Sure. You want to go ahead and answer that, Fernando?
Sure. A few years ago, we reached a point where demand for our equipment was growing overseas, but we needed a structure to scale effectively. So that's when we turned into the SBDC, and their team helped us conduct an export readiness assessment, which gave us a clear picture for where our internal system needed strengthening, from documentation and logistics to distribution support. Together, we developed a strategic export marketing plan, identifying our most promising markets and aligning our resources accordingly. They also connected us with programs such as Select Florida, trade grants, and export-import banking financing, and Exim Bank, and also Florida Export, in other words, which allowed us to participate in trade missions and meet international buyers confidently. The results were significant. We expanded our distribution network in Latin America and the Middle East, streamlined our export documentation and compliance processes, and improve our financial planning for international sales. In essence, SBDC helped us evolve from being an opportunistic exporter to a strategic global manufacturer.
That's great. We always love to be strategic, right? Like
Yes.
have a plan. Can you guys talk a little bit about the medical equipment industry and kind of what trends you see related to manufacturers related to your area?
Yes, but the medical equipment industry, the new trends are that everything is more digital. More and more companies are using AI for their equipment. So that's a new trend. So we have to, keep up with the new technologies. Everything wants to be centralized in the hospital setting. For example, now the patient monitors, they have the HL7 protocol. They have connectivity to the central station, and from that central station, you connect to the HIS, which is the hospital software. And the same thing is happening with radiology equipment. They use DICOM, so you have a central station. You have connectivity with the hospitals, with a hospital network, so everybody can see what the images throughout the hospital, and everything is happening in with all the equipment lines. Also for the supply chain, so. Customers are relying more in supply chain, and they are like choosing more reliable manufacturers. And for that, at HouseMed, we open a hub in the UAE, in Dubai. So we are serving that community of the Middle East and Southeast Asia. So that way, we can cut the time in transit and delivery of the equipment. So those are some of the new trends, happening.
Cool. And then I know you mentioned that you guys work through distributors. What is your process for identifying potential distributors and kind of selecting those that are going to work with you on your products?
Yeah, for a company like HouseMed, choosing the right distributor is as critical as the product itself. Our selection process is deliberate and relationship driven. We start by studying the country's healthcare infrastructure, import regulations, and procurement landscape. We use data from SBDC, the U.S. Commercial Service, and as well as trade mission reports, such as the one that Alejandro was mentioning earlier, to identify active importers in our product categories. We evaluate potential distributors' experience, technical know-how, after-sales service capacity, and financial health. Selling medical equipment isn't just about volume, it's about service capability and maintaining also the device uptime in hospitals. Once we find the right partner, we provide detailed training, both technical and commercial. Our goal is for every distributor to act as an extension of our brand, delivering the same standards of quality and safety as Husman would directly do it. We conduct regular business reviews. We co-sponsor trade events and share marketing assets. Our distributors aren't resellers. They're strategic allies who carry our reputation in their markets.
And I would really shout out again, like Alejandra, her team, like their programs, and also the U.S. Commercial Service. In my previous position, I was able to go over to Europe and see like the Gold Key in action, see like the International Partner Search, because like you guys are kind of mentioning a lot, going into like some of these countries, you don't know who to know. So basically taking advantage of these programs is really helpful to kind of get on the ground, get local, and find the right folks.
Yeah, actually, HOSMED is a great example of what Select Florida, the services that Select Florida provides at all its different stages. So like Segundo and Fernando were explaining, they did the export marketing plan first because they really wanted to make sure that they were being very strategic about their expansion overseas. So when they did the export marketing plan that was supported by us and implemented by the SBDC, that gave them detailed information about their top markets. So that already it's a win because they already know what the markets they should be focusing in. And then the beauty of the export marketing plan, it's not only that it's not tailored by industry, it's tailored to the company. It requires that the company is also involved, and Fernando and Segundo can probably share more on that, but it is required. It requires time from them and a lot of interaction between the SBDC consultant and the company, so they can actually provide a very detailed blueprint of the step-by-step to be successful when exporting. So that was great, and Select Florida doesn't stop there with its assistance and with the grants. So we provided a grant for that export marketing plan, but then in that plan, you will also find the resources to implement that plan, and that includes a wide array of resources, and it includes also activities like the trade shows that I believe you guys did, the Arab Health that it's in Dubai. It's pretty big. I don't know, Hospitalar, Medica, those are also very big international trade shows where Select Florida has a strong presence. And then implementing those, being part of those shows or the trade missions that we've done a few as well. There's also grants that are tied to those activities to make sure that we're helping you in each step of the way. So it's not only guiding or giving you the theory of what to do, but we can also help you in the implementation side of things. And I feel that the assistance that Select Florida provides it's very holistic in the sense that we help in the on paper, in the theory of like the guidance, the blueprint, and then the implementation, and also providing different resources, connections, networking opportunities. Once you become a friend or a client of Select Florida, you're always connected to us. We have a team that each member has a different specialty. We cover different regions, locally and globally, and then you'll get to interact a lot with a lot of us, and you will receive different resources from each team member. So I'm just very happy, and I wanted to chime in because it makes me very happy to see Hosmed here as a panelist, and to see that they're sharing their experience with Select Florida. And I hope
Thank
this
you.
is a great example for other companies that are listening and that wish to work with us and wish to start exploring countries, international markets. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's
you.
what we're all about. We're all about a team, right? So it's the business and then all the community resources working together. So with that, so now I have Grayman. You guys are our closer for the first section. So Eduardo and Eric, you guys are gonna help us to close out kind of like the business fundamental section. So Eduardo, for you first, could you start by telling us about grain manufacturing, grain machinery manufacturing? What do you guys produce? What's your typical customers? I know you kind of touched on it a little bit at the beginning, but give us like a deeper dive.
Yeah. So grain machinery manufacturing, known as Grainman as well. It's a Miami-based OEM manufacturer that we design and build laboratory testing equipment for grain and seed processing for over 50 years. We're currently the last standing domestic manufacturer, U.S. domestic manufacturer of USDA approved laboratory equipment for the rice industry. Alongside our OEM line, we also operate a precision CNC manufacturing division, supporting US manufacturers with milling, turning, assemblies, and full turnkey projects. So our customers range from the USDA, universities, testing agencies, as well as end users and manufacturers that need certain components to be able to put together their equipment. So we make sure that all this equipment and parts that we manufacture go through rigorous quality control inspections. So even though all of our equipment is not USDA approved, we manufacture everything with the same standards. So it's one of the things that stands apart from the majority of people, is that we keep all of our certification, as well as when it comes to traceability. If you give me your serial number from an equipment from 50 years ago, I have a build sheet of every part that went into there, and we still maintain equipment that's been in the field for 50 plus years. So it's one of the things that we like to keep our customers going.
Nice. And I know you guys want to set yourself apart. I know that you're award winning, right? Didn't you win an award this year?
Yes, we did win Manufacturer of the Year with the SBDC, so it was good to get some recognition and all the hard work that we've been putting in for the years. It's good for the team to see that what we're doing is in the right fashion, in the right direction that we're moving.
Yeah, and I think you guys have more coming. So it's kind of like just one of many down the road. So, but well
Yeah,
deserved, well deserved.
thank
Um,
you, appreciate it.
and then in terms of your business, what production challenges have pushed you to adopt some new technology?
So for many years, we were 100% a manual machine shop where everything that we did was very hands-on, no automation. Everything was touched by very highly skilled individuals, but that meant that there was only so much that we could do in production-wise. So the legacy taught craftsmanship, but it limited scalability and consistency. So as our customer demand grew, we faced challenges with setup time, repeatability, and data traceability. So those were the main drive to be able to modernize and get to the next step. So we have invested heavily in CNC manufacturing equipment, CMM metrology, and CAM programming. The goal wasn't just to automate, it was to have smarter, more repeatable production. So we standardized tooling, created digital setups, and we trained our people on advanced CAD, CAM, and GD&T inspection. So the results were actually immediate. We had faster changeovers, lower scrap, and the ability to take on higher precision work without losing the human skill that built our name.
And then we just talked about production, but have you also explored technologies for business operations too?
Yes, so we do a lot in process improvement. So modernizing production without modernizing the operations doesn't really make much sense. We've been implementing digital tools across quoting, CRM, and inventory tracking to close the gap between the office and the shop floor. So we're also preparing for CMMC and ITAR compliance to strengthen our government contracting pipeline. So our end goal, the mindset, is for full integration, where quoting, scheduling, quality control, and accounting talk to each other. That's how you scale manufacturing business today. We see technology not as a replacement for people, but as an amplifier of what good people can do when they're equipped with the right tools. You don't scale machines, you scale people.
Nice. And then Eric, for you, how do you schedule machines and kind of protect deadlines when you have like rush work that shows up?
So we utilize a ERP system, and when we plan out, we plan using a mix of fixed scheduling as well as some flexible capacity. Each machine has a defined workload that we forecast in weekly blocks, but we maintain at least a 10 to 15% buffer capacity to handle urgent jobs as they come in. And we know that they come in, and we want to be a solution provider for our customers, so we never want to turn a customer away. When a rush order comes in, we evaluate it based on our active setups and available tooling that's currently in the machines. If it's a machine that's already set up and tooled, we insert it with minimal downtime. One of the important things is communication. We have weekly meetings between production, quality control, and management to make sure that we're aligned on what the top priorities are, and so we can reset priorities and update timelines. It's not about over promising; it's about reacting fast without compromising quality and other commitments.
And then for you guys business, like what's your day-to-day in terms of quality flow?
So we run a closed loop system, starting with incoming inspection of material and setup verification. Every part we run begins with first article of inspection. Once approved by our qualified CMM, then operators perform in-process checks at defined intervals based on the part criticality. Results are logged digitally, and they travel with the parts in our ERP system. All of the parts travel with tracers. So we can see exactly where a part is in the process through the facility. And this allows us to make sure that we're hitting all of our dimensional verifications, surface finish, any visual checks, and we document everything, as well as we're constantly developing SOPs. As we see pain areas, we try to address them immediately and be proactive whenever we see a problem.
That's great. And then the last question is in terms of technology innovation, has there anything that's helped you to automate your production processes? I know we kind of touched on it a little earlier too.
Yes, our biggest gains have come from integrating advanced CNC controls, digital inspection tools. On our CNC machines, we have digital probing, so we're able to run probing routines that minimize downtime, and we're able to create offsets and utilize our CAM automation software so we can minimize human interaction just as a quality control check. Our CMM systems feed directly into our quality database. It closes the loop between production and quality control. We're also using AI-assisted scheduling and quoting tools to forecast machine utilization and minimize idle downtime. These technologies don't just automate, they make our process repeatable and data-driven and scalable. And it's one of the things as we move into the future, we want to future-proof ourselves into the next world of advanced manufacturing.
Yeah, no, thank you. And before we move on to like international and discussing exporting, because I know we talked about that a lot at the beginning, I was going to throw you guys a curveball for the whole panel. I know one of the pressure points for a lot of manufacturers is recruiting and retaining talent. Can you guys talk about any like strategies you've had or anything, any programs or resources or anything you took advantage of for the entire panel? Anything around kind of recruiting talent, kind of like retaining talent? In the manufacturing sector?
So one of the big things that we've done at Grain Machinery is we try to have an emphasis on making sure that we have interaction with the next upcoming engineers. So we're very active in the high school robotic competition scene. We sponsor a couple of teams, as well as we're active in the FIU capstone project. So we're making sure that we're bridging the gap between the up and coming employees, making sure that they have the skills that are required for this industry.
Any of the other panelists for BioRep or for Hosmet?
Yeah, for us, we're a small team. We're 20 employees, and we understand very well that hiring the wrong person can be very expensive. So we actually try to offer the best benefits we can, like trying to even match big company benefits. We think that the return on investment is very clear. And we also offer our internal reward process for referrals. If an employee refers somebody and we hire them, the employee gets like a bonus. So we actually have a very structured interview process. But I mean, it's gonna sound crazy, but we actually do like 10 different interviews of the person. So it's actually like a 2 or 3 week process for each candidate. So, but yeah, and so that's kind of what we try to how we try to retain employees.
So you follow like the hire slowly process, hire slowly,
Yeah,
deliberate.
we hire slowly. Yes.
Mhm.
So
Anything for Hazmed?
Yeah, for us, it's not an easy task either because we also have to recruit biomedical engineers. So we have to make sure that they have a solid background so they can learn our equipment and get trained on them. Also for the sales reps, they need to have some sort of experience, in the medical industry and medical market. So they know how to sell the equipment. And we also provide training because even though they might come from the medical industry and other companies to work with us, they have to be trained in our equipment and know our equipment. So that's another task that we have to do. And so we're trying to retain them, by offering them constant training, competitive salaries, and also uh, taking them to the trade shows so they can see what's going on in the industry and the new trends and the new challenges of the industry.
And Eduardo, you had something to add too?
Yeah, I believe what everyone said is very valid, but at Grain Machinery, one thing is we're very keen on our mission, vision, and core values. So we'd like to make sure that that's set in stone from the very beginning so that everyone, if you're coming on board, it's because you align with what we're trying to achieve as a common goal. So we have a family mindset here, and we'd like to make sure that everyone is comfortable. At the end of the day, we spend more time here than we do at home, inevitably. So want to
Sure.
make sure it's the best working environment we can provide. So we just like to be very clear on just core values, mission, and vision from the get-go, because that really does influence not someone just wanting to come on board, but giving someone that purpose to want to stay on board.
Mhm. That's great. So
Yes.
the final, oh, Eric, you had something?
I just wanted to add, we also put a big emphasis on upskilling our current workforce, cross-training them on multiple different areas in the factory, and making sure that everybody has an idea of, like Eduardo said, exactly what our mission and vision is. That way we can extend it into the future, be aligned.
That's great. And then I did want to turn before we close out in terms of international kind of exporting. I know that we touched upon that at the beginning, and it was kind of weaved into some of you guys' business and operations. But for Hazmed, we talked about kind of the work that you guys do in terms of being a South Florida company, but you have global reach. Can you talk about some of those additional resources or programs that you guys would recommend for manufacturers that are looking to do business internationally?
Yes, like you said, first and foremost, the Florida SBDC network was essential for us. Their export marketing plan program helped us identify our strongest target markets and refine our international strategy. So, from our experience at firsthand, I will definitely recommend Select Florida. They offer trade grants to help small manufacturers offset costs, like Alejandra was pointed it out earlier, especially for the market research and overseas promotion. Like basically, be there in front of the attendees. The U.S. Commercial Service is an excellent for matchmaking with foreign distributors and understanding local regulations. Exim Bank, as well as Florida Export, um, they they offer a tremendous assistance program for financing and credit insurance, especially when working with new international buyers. These resources are underutilized, in my opinion, but make a huge difference. They give smaller manufacturers as ourselves the same level of intelligence and risk management that large corporations enjoy. And they make global expansion achievable and sustainable. So that will be basically our main recommendation.
That's great. And then for BioRep, I know we talked about some of your operations and some of the work that you guys done. Before working with SBDC, did you have a clear idea of what countries might be the best fit for you guys overseas?
Yeah, so we're actually a customer of SBDC as well. We actually use the export marketing plan to identify which countries in Europe wants to target. And I actually did a study in 2019, and I can tell you that back then it was identified that Germany was a good country to target. And today in 2025, Germany is our biggest kind of the country where we sell the most in Europe. So it was right on. But yeah, I definitely recommend it to everybody who wants to export as well.
Cool. I know that we have a couple questions in the chat, so I was gonna open it up to the Q&A section. I know that we also had some other folks that were gonna weigh in. Alexis, did you want to read the questions that were in the Q&A for our panelists?
Or I'm glad to do that. So also for the questions in the Q&A, if you are interested in speaking with the panelists, just raise your hand and I will unmute you. So I'll give you a moment. Eleanor and Ricardo, if either of you are able to speak, we would love to hear directly from you. If not, then I will go ahead and read the question. So I'll start with Ricardo's question. It says, I'm interested in manufacturing antibacterial cell phones, iPads, and computer screen protectors. I am partnered with antibacterial film manufacturer and would like to get some help in starting.
So anybody have any insights or suggestions, any things to do or not do?
Reach out to the SBDC.
There you go. That was good. I don't want to do it. It'd be too shameless for me to say it, but
No, definitely reach out to the SBDC. It's the best starting point.
Any
I
other?
agree.
I mean, as far as where to start to manufacture the product or where to start the company, I wasn't sure, but if it's one recommendation I have is to everybody is the importance of SOPs. If you don't have SOPs and everybody and everything relies on tribal knowledge, it's very hard to scale. So I definitely recommend early on when the company doesn't become too complex, start creating procedures, start documenting how everything should work from operations, but even the finance. How do you make a quote? How do you make an invoice? How do you make and document all the steps? And that's going to allow you to, when you hire people, they can follow instructions and be able to scale. That's one advice I can give.
And I see it, and for anybody that might be listening, everybody in the panel was nodding their head when he was saying that, because it is important when you're starting a business in terms of standardizing processes. It's very important when you're scaling. So when you're adding additional staff, when you're growing the business, you have more sales coming in, you have more customers, more distributors. So it is something that's kind of like you can't really grow if you're not setting up those core processes and procedures.
Yeah.
Correct. And there was a question in the chat, and we can just address it to all of the panelists. It's, do you all work with small companies or distributors like S Corp, 3 people, or just big companies? And what would be the requirements for those distributors in terms of minimum quantity or order?
I would say that we like to work with big and small. So at the end of the day, as long as the credentials are in place, we would actually, as long as there's a proven track record to an extent, we would much rather support a small business, someone that's 2, 3, 5 people, because we were all 2, 3, 5 people at some point. So we much rather support the little guys. And as a matter of fact, sometimes we make the exception knowing that the smaller distributor may not have as aggressive pricing, but we start building a relationship as long as it's within the means of what we can still afford to move forward. So sometimes it's not all about that last 1 or 2 cents, but more so the relationship or starting to build someone off and on the right foot, because you never know when that 2 or 3 person company today will have 200 or 300 employees later, and then they'll be looking out for you and afterwards. So it's, yes, we do not look away from anyone that's small. We actually see that more of an added value, because if you can still be efficient and provide what you need to do within means, obviously you can't put all your eggs in one basket, but there's no reason to turn away someone as a distributor or someone as a partner, as long as they have their credentials in play. So I think small or big, as long as you have your stuff in order, there's no issues there.
Yeah. And I know we might get another question or two in the chat, but I was going to mention to you guys in terms of kind of closing thoughts. I know this year has been challenging on a couple of fronts for manufacturing, for businesses, whether you're overseas, whether you're domestic. Do you guys have any like words of encouragement for somebody that's maybe like an established manufacturing company that's looking to take it to the next level? For you guys, be on a illustrious panel like we are today, or be award winning, or work with Select Florida. Any like words of advice for folks kind of as we're closing out the year, or kind of anything that you've seen?
Sure. From my end, I think, Brian, growth often means stepping outside of your comfort zone. New markets, new certifications, maybe even new partners. My advice is to embrace collaboration. We work with organizations like we have already said, SBDC, Shelley is amazing, Select Florida, with Michael and Alejandra, Exim Bank with Daisy as well, and industry associations, that can provide fresh perspectives and global connections. And remember, the next level isn't always about producing more. It's about creating smarter systems, stronger partnerships, and more resilient supply chains. For Hosmed, expanding internationally wasn't just a sales decision. It was a transformation in how we think about quality, service, brand trust worldwide. So my encouragement is be bold, stay disciplined, and invest in relationships as much as in machinery. That's how manufacturing excellence scales globally.
That's great. I think you inspired someone. Someone put a question in the chat too while we were talking. Do you want to take that, Alexis? I think you're muted.
We have another question in the chat from Hernan. He says, as manufacturers adopting Industry 4.0, how are you ensuring secure and efficient operations in Florida and across your international sites? What challenges have you faced with connectivity, cybersecurity, or digital infrastructure? Great question.
Anybody want to take that?
So I can just speak to utilizing the resources that are available to you. Like we utilize resources at SBDC to make sure that we're already being proactive when it comes to CNMC compliance for cybersecurity. So you can utilize the resources around you that will give you a step up. There's a lot of times, especially in government contracting, it's a very big world, and you have to have specialties to understand each world, including cybersecurity is a specialty on its own, and it's an ever-evolving ecosystem. So when there are programs, including like the grant program and the SBDC for CNMC compliance, we like to utilize everything that's available for us.
Yeah, and I would say the supply chains are just getting bigger. And so even though CMMC is like a federal requirement, it is also starting to be like an industry requirement, because you have a lot of large and small businesses that are doing business with the government. So definitely it's something you need to stay ahead of. It's a good business practice, because I think we've all seen like those, public stories where somebody got, phished, or somebody got basically like a denial of service or something else. And especially if you're working with manufacturing, or you're working in the medical industry, it is just a lot of challenges regarding that. Then you don't want to get caught unaware, because it could be a big fine, especially if you have like HIPAA, if you work with any kind of patient stuff or anything else. HIPAA is a 4-letter word if you get a fine or you get something else. So definitely you want to stay on top of that, not just for your team and your clients, but also like just doing good business.
I think also with a lot of new investment into AI, one of the big concerns as manufacturers is the protection of our intellectual property, to make sure that we're not uploading, any files or any sensitive information that we don't want, trade secrets. So one of the steps that we've taken through actually learning in a class that was given from the SBDC about AI and manufacturing is making sure that we're hosting our AI on our own private server, on our own cloud. So we're not having our information just out there for the world. And it's one way that we're able to mitigate to make sure that we're retaining our intellectual property, which is very crucial.
But I know we just mentioned to you guys, like it does happen a lot, and especially happens here in South Florida. We were actually doing a cybersecurity training a couple years ago for like a large shipping company, and they were doing it for their like supply chain, their vendors. And somebody came up after and she's like, "This is a great presentation." And I was like, "No, thank you very much. That means a lot." No, this is great because actually one of my colleagues was supposed to be here and they were subject to a phishing attack where basically the kind of accounting folks got an email they thought was from the CEO that said, "Hey, I'm arriving back from Orlando. I need you to wire money to this account." And so they thought it was from the CEO and basically wired the money and then found out it was a phishing. Basically, they had spoofed the email address, they had basically done all the stuff. And so the team wasn't able to come because they were basically trying to do cleanup and like investigation on that. So for me, it was one of those things where it's not theoretical or like, general. It's basically actually happened in actual businesses. So definitely need to stay on top of it. So I think I don't see any other questions in the chat. So anybody else have a closing thought as we wrap up? I just really want to shout out Alexis, Alejandra, all of our really great panelists, Andresa. For us, this was a really rock star panel. I wish we could do this every week, but I know you guys have businesses to run, in that respect. But any closing thoughts or anything else, Alexis?
Yes, thank you all so much again for attending. And for those of the participants who are still on with us, if you found this panel useful and helpful, please take a moment to do our poll, our survey. We need to hear from you all so that we can keep doing things like this and make sure that we are giving you valuable content and resources for your business. So it is just 5 questions. It'll take no more than 2 or 3 minutes to do. So as you begin to exit, please make sure that you take the poll. It is on your screen. We do want to hear from you. Let us know what you thought of today's panel. Let us know what topics you're interested in seeing more of, and if you're even interested in doing something else like this, and the ways that you want us to communicate with you. As Brian said, we understand that you all are entrepreneurs running your businesses, and we want to make sure that we're making the best use of your time. So I thank you all for joining us. Thank you again to our panelists and to our great moderator, Brian. And once you have completed the poll, please feel free to exit the roundtable for today. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you again, guys. Take care and thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Have a
Bye-bye.
great day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good
Bye-bye.
day.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.